Iraqi invasion of Kuwait in August 1990 was a seminal event in the history of the Assyrian people. At the end of the Gulf War, northern Iraq was declared a safe haven for the minority groups that had suffered under the regime of Saddam Hussein. These populations included the Kurds, Turkomans, and the less-known Assyrians. Living among tens of millions of Muslims in this most strategic region are nearly 1 million Assyrians, a vast majority of whom are followers of the Church of the East and the Chaldean Catholic Church.
The Middle East has been one of the most volatile regions on the globe, and the Assyrians have been involved in every war and conflict of every century in the past 4,000 years. My name is Wilfred Alkas. I'm the editor of Zinda magazine, and together for the next few minutes we will assess the impact of the Gulf War on the lives of the Assyrians in North Iraq.
Assyrians are the direct descendants of the ancient people of Mesopotamia, the land surrounding the rivers Tigris and Euphrates. The written records show that they established the first civilizations, writing, mathematics, astronomy, and the magnificent sculptures, libraries, schools, and royal palaces. The Assyrian Empire came to an end in 612 BC, and the last Assyrian monarchy ended around 300 AD. According to the Assyrian church traditions, Saint Thomas and Apostle Adai evangelized Mesopotamia and the Assyrian people in the 1st century shortly after the death and ascension of Jesus Christ. Soon, a Syrian form of Christianity spread from the most important cultural centers of that time, the cities of Edessa, Nisibin, Jundishapur, and Baghdad, to places as far as China, Siberia, Japan, and India. The Assyrians, because of their Christian faith and ethnic identity, have been persecuted by their Persian, Arab, Mongolian, and Turkish rulers. The West rediscovered the Assyrians and their Christian traditions in the 19th century during the excavations led by British, French, and German archaeologists in northern Iraq.
While the American and European soldiers were fighting in the trenches of World War I, 2 out of every 3 Assyrian, including their religious patriarch, perished due to cold, hunger, mass deportations, and massacres in the hands of the Kurdish and Turkish troops.
Today, the Assyrian churches in Iraq are composed of several communities, of whom the most influential is the Chaldean Catholic Church, with over 800,000 members in Iraq. The parishioners in the other churches, including the Church of the East, number over 200,000 in Iraq, a majority of whom inhabit North Iraq. The Assyrians in Iraq have no role in the government. The Iraqi Ba'ath Party does not grant Christianity the same status as Islam, even though it is in theory a secular political party. The Assyrians in the north live among the rival Kurdish groups led by Masoud Barzani of the Kurdistan Democratic Party and Jalal Talabani's Patriotic Union of Kurdistan. While the Turkomans receive support from Turkey and the Kurds obtained financial aid through the UN-sponsored Oil for Food program and the illegal smuggling of goods through the neighboring borders, the Assyrians rely solely on the monetary support of other Assyrians in Europe, Australia, and in particular the United States.
Unlike the case with the Kurds in the north and the Shiites in the south, the plight of the Assyrians is hardly covered by the news media in the West, despite the fact that Assyrians are the largest Christian minority in the region.
Several Assyrian groups and political parties operate in northern Iraq, but the most organized and influential is the ADM, or Assyrian Democratic Movement. The semi-democratic environment created by the Kurdish regional government in power in North Iraq has allowed Assyrians certain cultural and linguistic rights. Taking advantage of such liberalization, ADM supporters have already built several schools and provide instruction of all different subjects for grades 1 through high school in the Assyrian or Syriac language. Today, thousands of Assyrian students are taught in several Assyrian-administered schools in the north. The political conditions of the Assyrians have improved in the north, as symbolized by the induction of 5 ADM members in the 1992 Kurdish parliament of 105 deputies.
With all the improvements in the north, still many Assyrians desire to emigrate to the west. There is a general feeling of uncertainty about the future of Iraq should the government of Saddam Hussein be overthrown.
This is the result of 2 important events in the history of modern Middle East: the civil war between Christians and others in Lebanon, and the emergence of Islamic rule in Iran and Afghanistan. It is estimated that as many as 30% of all Iraqis leaving the country are Christian. Another reason for this feeling of discomfort among the Assyrians in the north are the Kurdish political groups. The deep-seated rivalry between the 2 main Kurdish political parties, the KDP and the PUK, the militancy of the Marxist PKK, and the growing Kurdish Islamism in the north are but a few issues that concern the Assyrian leaders. Assyrians are a people in waiting, suspended between their allegiance to Iraq's future and possible ethnic and religious uprisings. By far, the majority of Assyrians in the north only seek cultural and religious rights within a democratic Iraq. Like the Kurds and the Turkomans, Assyrians fear Saddam and his wrath if the UN-secured zone is no longer protected by the Allied forces.
All that Assyrians can do for now is to wait. The West, however, can do much more for this small but significant Christian population in Iraq. The United States and the European government's protection and the consistent media coverage in the West can minimize any future Iraqi insurrection against this fragile society in the north. It is time that we remember a people who have long struggled for democracy, plurality, and tolerance in the face of dictatorship and totalitarianism. Let us not forget the Assyrians.